Viewers, I am Major General Neelendra Kumar for the playlist Going Strong, talking now to about to be 95 years, General VN Sharma, who was Indian Army's 14th Chief of Army Staff. Sir, my question to you is that you became a chief a little while after General Vaidya, who was your predecessor in that great office of head of India's army, and he too was from Ahmednagar. Now, what is your impression and any interaction, interesting anecdote that you may like to share with the viewers?
I first met General Vaidya when I was a captain in Ahmednagar. I was an instructor in the gunnery wing, and he was also an instructor. He was a major, and he lived in a very distant house with his wife and his first daughter. He had 3 daughters eventually, and we called on him. I was on a bicycle. Yes. I was unmarried at that time, and we became friends. Yes. And then in Ahmednagar, they used to invite me for some parties in their house, and I used to invite them to the officers' mess parties. So I knew him from then. And the next meeting was when I was Colonel GS of the Armoured Division after the 71 war.
Okay.
General Gurbachan Singh Butch was commanding the division, and this is 1972 or thereabout, and Arun Vaidya was commanding 3 Armoured Brigade. So he was promoted to Major General and asked to take over the Armoured Division. So as Colonel GS, I received him outside Jhansi. He drove in his car from Pathankot to wherever they were with his wife, and I received them. I said that I have been authorized by General Butch to request you to wear the Major General's papers before you enter Jhansi.
Right.
So he said, no, I've got 4 days of taking over. After I've taken over, then I'll put them on. So the President gives his orders, and if you don't mind, and the Colonel GS, and I'm here to meet you so many miles outside. I have got the star plate to be changed from 1 star to 2, and on your car, and we've got a jeep to guide you into thing, because General Butch requests that since you are going to be the GOC of the 1st Armoured Division, the moment you enter Jhansi, all civilians and all military personnel must see the proper flag and the proper star plates and the proper rank on the next GOC. So his wife said nothing. She just kept quiet. He looked at his wife. He said, all right, I've known a Stitch. All right, Stitch, go ahead. So we put on his pips, JCO and myself, and then we asked Mrs. Vaidya to put on one side, and we put on the other side, and then we changed the star plates, and we drove him into Jhansi. It was great style. And he was the Armoured Division commander. I was his colonel. We attended a number of exercises, and after an exercise it was run by the then Western Army Commander Thapan.
Yes.
General Thapan.
Emil Thapan, yes.
Yes. A very good exercise. We went to Faridkot for this exercise. So General was told that only the General plus 2 staff officers are permitted. Yes. So he selected me, and he said, you can select 1 more staff officer, and I selected the OC of the number 1 Engineer Regiment.
Okay.
And DSR Sani, who later retired as an army commander.
Yes.
DSR Sani I selected because he is very sharp in the head and very good in calculation. So I said, in an exercise you've got to put your best foot forward. And so the 3 of us landed up in Faridkot. After the exercise, where the Armoured Division was made to do all sorts of attacks and things, and we had to do the complete operational orders and everything between Sani and myself, and the GOC accepted. Then he said that you and I are going for a reconnaissance. We had already arranged. He says, I want to see the international border. So we started from south of Firozpur to Anupgarh, beyond Suratgarh, the desert, going along the international border. Now the international border with General Vaidya, he said, we were dressed, and he was dressed as a major.
Okay.
And I was dressed as a captain.
Okay.
You see? So I said, look, if somebody halts us and tells us, stops us, we're on a jeep, and we had another jeep following with a little small guard. What do we do? He says, my identity card is of that of a major. So my photograph is of a major, so I'm okay. I don't know about you. So I said, well, my identity card is that of a colonel, but I won't show it. Anyway, we had those captain's rank, and so
that's how you travelled across.
I was driving, and he was sitting next to me, and we kept on conversing because he wanted to see the terrain between India and Pakistan in the desert area and Ganganagar sector. We went along this, and there were camel tracks on both sides. There were Camel Corps of India and Camel Corps of Pakistan, whom we passed patrolling and all that. But we were, the border fence was there, and we just drove along that. We stopped at various BSF posts. It's a remarkable, interesting scene to see how the border is guarded. So BSF post we attended, and General Vaidya and I came to the final BSF post who had been warned, and there was a sub-inspector of the BSF to look after us. And what was remarkable that both of us saw that the sub-inspector for high tea in his post, we were going to spend the night there, he gave us Rasgullas. Big Rasgulla. So General Vaidya asked him, he says, I thought that the Bengali Rasgulla is very famous. So he said, Bengali तो अपने शान निकालते रहते हैं, लेकिन वो कुछ नहीं है. यहाँ का रसगुल्ला पूरी दुनिया में बेस्ट. ठीक, पहले तो बहुत बड़ा है, दूसरा इसके अंदर केसर डाला है, श्रीखंड, केसर. So that's golden color. और खा के देखो. So we ate it. It's very excellent. And inside was the full kharbani. So बीच में kharbani, जैसे seed निकालो and you eat the kharbani inside. So this is remarkable. He says ऊँट के दूध का बना.
And where was this? Which location?
This was the BSF post, Anoopkar somewhere.
Somewhere Anoopkar.
It's in the desert area between Pakistan. So that was an interesting period with General Vaidya. Later, he became Eastern Army Commander. And I was in the Military Operations Directorate as a Major General. And there was a naval plus army exercise in Andaman Islands. Which meant that they wanted to have some, go to Port Blair, in North Andaman, in the Andaman Islands. Then you go to Middle Andamans, and then in the Great Nicobar, there is a beach called Camel Bay, which is underwater now because of an earthquake. And we wanted some floating tanks to come and attack that. So General Vaidya rang me up and said, look here, those 3 tanks have to attack the Camel Bay. Are you coming for this exercise? I said, sir, I'm getting permission. I want to attend. I've raised the matter to DGMO has agreed that I can go, but we have to take the Chief sanction and Ministry of Defence sanction, which will come. I'll certainly come. He said, when you come, you be with me. I said, okay. So we were together. And when we got into a Navy ship with 3 tanks inside, these are PT-76 tanks, which float. So we started from Andaman Islands, Middle Andaman, and then we went by ship all night
to Great Nicobar,
to the southern end of Great Nicobar. And then at due course, early hours of the morning, as dawn was breaking, we were about a kilometer and a half away from the Camel Bay of Great Nicobar, and the orders were given by the Navy boss to say that, okay, tanks get out. So they opened the doors in front, and there were 3 tanks, and General Vaidya was in one, and I was in the second, and there was some other joker on the third, and the PT-76s went into the water, and we were firing very light pistols and landed up on the beach where Sardarjis had been settled. Camel Bay, when all the Sikhs ran away from Punjab, because of the partition, see? Some of them had to be settled in Jammu and Kashmir area, some of them were settled in Andaman Island. The government said that, they are a fighting clan, so they should be on border areas. We'll give them land and let them settle. So the Sardarjis were there to settle that place. There were a lot of trees that had been cut for their benefit to do land, but they said that these are coral islands, but nonetheless there are trees there, and now they wanted the trees roots to be removed so that they could do kheti badi. And the Navy were there. There was a small airstrip they made, and after we landed up, there was summing up of the exercise, and the naval chief or whoever was conducting it was very happy with the way Navy and Army cooperated. And then on a Navy aircraft, we took off from there and
Yes.
went back. He went to Eastern Army and I came back to Delhi. But later he became the Army Chief. When he was the Army Chief, I was in MO Directorate.
Okay.
As
In
a
MO.
major,
Yes, sir.
military operations. But if you recollect the history, there was that Gurkha officer, kya naam hai, who was the Vice Chief of Army Staff. He was superseded by Indira Gandhi.
Sinha, sir.
Sinha.
Sinha, General Sinha.
General Sinha. Now, General Sinha and my brother were very good friends.
Sir.
Because when my brother Somnath
Yes.
landed up in Kashmir,
Yes.
General Sinha was in charge of the transport. He was the
Okay.
major. You see?
Yes.
He knew all the stories. He used to sit with
Yes.
Somnath on the airstrip.
Yes.
And Somnath used to say, I have to go to battle, I'm not being sent, what the hell is this and all that,
Yes,
you know. And Sinha had told us many stories about Somnath, so he and I are very good friends. Now he was the Vice Chief of Army Staff in charge of MO Directorate. And he was superseded by Indira Gandhi and she wanted to make Vaidya the Army Chief. So we all wanted to see what was happening and he came to the military operations, he said, I'm going to resign. So we asked him, General Sinha, that are you upset that you are being superseded? He said, yes, because I am the senior most and there's nothing wrong. He is a very brilliant officer, there is no doubt about it. He said, now Indira Gandhi decided that Arun Vaidya has to take over, so I'll resign, I don't want to serve under him. See? He's my junior by about 2 years. So he resigned. Now he was in charge of the Gurkha Brigade, you know,
Okay, yes.
30 battalions of Gurkhas. Anyway, so the government were a little concerned that would the Gurkhas be upset about this. They asked the MO director that would there be any problem. We said, no, we are the army, we couldn't care a damn who becomes the chief or doesn't become the chief. Anyway, Arun Vaidya came. The first thing he did was to come to the military operations director to discuss with us the question of him taking over after having superseded. Then after he discussed with General Samana was the
Yes.
DGMO, I was number 2, I was the Major General. He said, I want to talk to Lt Sharma. So everybody left the ops room and I said to him, he said, tell me, what do you think about this business of supersession? I said, I'm not interested. He said, but I am feeling a little concerned. He's a good man.
Yes.
You understand? Good-hearted.
Yes.
He said, I'm concerned that, you know, General Sinha is a top-class officer. It's not my fault. I mean, the Prime Minister tells me that I have to be the chief. What am I supposed to say? But at the same time, I'm feeling bad that
Yes.
I'm superseding him. I said, sir, you've got no business to feel bad. You are the bloody army chief. You take over command and you jolly well function. You couldn't care a hoot as to why you became or why you did not become or who didn't become or didn't become, because the government in its wisdom or lack of it
Yes.
has decided who's going to be the army chief. So you be the army chief.
Authorities.
Yes, you take over the authority. So that was an interaction with him. He was very happy to hear that from me. And then he acted as the army chief after that.
Thank you. Be with us. This conversation would continue.